Triff is asking if you beat Fletcher.
I did. I beat Fletcher round of 32. We can get to that.
Okay. Hi, YouTube. Mr. Carlos here. This time I am joined by our resident Floo enjoyer, Reizu, who played at the Remote Duel YCS this weekend. So, Reizu, why don't you tell us what did you play and how did you place?
So everybody who knows me knows I'm good at one specific deck. I'm good at others, but you haven't seen me play them in like months. It is Floo, Floowandereeze. I've said before, I will not handle any hate. This deck is great. So I played Floowandereeze. I ended up top 16. My round 16 opponent just destroyed me. No, I'm kidding. It was actually okay. But up until that point, my record was great. We can go with my record, we can go with my deck, but my record in Swiss was 6-3. I just snuck in at 6-3 after 9 rounds. I made actual 32nd place. Just snuck in.
I saw that you knocked Cotton out. Cotton got 33rd, yes, and you got 32nd.
33rd place is Jesse Cotton. That was payback from the MCS loss that I took from him in week 10. So, you know, we got to have that third round showdown, see who's really the best there.
Yo, you heard it here first. Reizu versus Cotton.
All right, true rivalry.
Why don't you get started?
Okay, so everybody knows Floo. You know, the standard 6 cards you will see in every deck. They won't be any different. You got your standard, you got your 3 Rabina, you got your 3 Eaglin.
Huh?
You're not going to see them any different anywhere else. I don't have to explain them. Rabina searches a wing beast for a lower that includes itself. That comes up. I don't want to explain why it comes up, but it does come up. Sometimes you don't care about getting a street and Eaglin. You just care about having this because of chains. And then Eaglin gets level 7 or higher. And that's your big birds, that's fine. But these two don't need much explanation. They're fine.
He says as he explains what they do.
Exactly. But then the actual important pieces of the deck, outside of the side deck, 2 Stree and 1 Tokan. These 3 cards have been switched around a lot. In this format where Cash is still kind of the top deck, some people are playing 2 Tokan, some people are playing like 1 Stree. I actually had a duel where my opponent had me on 1 Stree. They assumed I had 1, so they had that banish face down, thought it was like good to go. And nope, I had another one. Or actually, it wasn't face down, it was just engrave or something. But no, I had another one, and that allowed me to win. The reason why I'm playing 2 Stree was specifically because I was afraid of my worst matchup, I believe to be my worst matchup, Furniture Lab. I thought I needed to have more resources to be able to banish their stuff from grave if I could. In my 11, I guess, matches, I faced 0 Furniture Lab.
Okay.
That is luck, and I think if I had, I would have many more losses.
Okay.
That is luck. I don't know if people aren't playing it for this tournament and they're taking it to nationals or what, but that was luck. I think this is the right ratio if I'm dealing with Furniture Lab. If you're worried about Cash specifically, I would just be playing 2 Tokan, but I think this deck is strong enough to do it without the double Tokan.
Fair enough.
Then we have the big birds. We have 2 M-Pen. I like 2. Some people are playing 3, some people are playing 1. That's weird to me. Let's not talk about Master Duel. We have the 1 Reizu. Again, one thing, some people are playing 2, and then 1 Apex Avian.
Okay.
I found Apex Avian to be the MVP all tournament. I thought sometimes I should take it out, swap it something else, maybe not have many things like that. But every time I've summoned it, I've won the game. And it's almost always after M-Pen, but it just comes in clutch. Reizu does what it does. Not enough to explain there, but obviously M-Pen is what you need every time. Sometimes I would draw into Reizu or M-Pen or Apex Avian, but because of the consistency of the deck in the TCG, I didn't have any point where I felt like it was bad. I think there was exactly 1 game where I drew 2 of them, and I still won because I drew the rest of my combo and didn't really have to worry about it.
How many times did you need the second M-Pen?
Almost always. The second M-Pen obviously allows M-Pen loops. It allows me to possibly summon both 1 turn, get a town, get Advent,
So you
wins.
agree with Master Duel that M-Pen needs to be limited?
I have a treatise, I have a whole essay about how no, but the answer for it is that like M-Pen is really strong, but the reason why I did it wasn't because, oh, I need a second M-Pen for like the floodgate effect. It was because I needed that extra search, so my board was robust enough that if my opponent got rid of my M-Pen, I had some way to follow up.
That's fair.
If I have just town, for example, okay, I town, I summon Rabina, Eaglin, something like that, and then let's say they imperm, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then I would need that advent. I would need something else to interrupt them. I would need winds or something else to start tributing my opponent's cards. I need something else to extend there, and that double impen really comes in. The triple impen I don't love yet, but I've considered it, and I'm still thinking about that for naps.
Sounds good.
Okay, now for like the generic stuff that I don't have to explain. There's map, there's 3 of them, not much else to do there. There's advent. I have advent as well, 3 of them. You're always going to play 3. If you're not playing 3, then like you're bad. I think I've looked through like 16 different Floo lists before this tournament. All of them are playing 3. I can't imagine anything else. Wins. I'm playing 1 win.
Only 1 win. Okay.
I've considered playing 2. I lost the game. I lost the game against Cashier because they summoned Cashier Rise Heart, banished 3 off top of my deck. Wins was one of them, and I just did not have an out for their board.
Okay.
I believe Reizu was my only out for their board at some point, and then that got removed by something like Fenrir, I think. And then it was just like, I can't do anything. I can't tribute the board. I think I spent like 5 minutes waiting, like, okay, what can I do? Do I have outs to this? And the answer was always no. So then it became like okay, how much time can I like waste in this game? Can I win the next one going first and then get a draw? Losing this is horrible. I've considered playing 2. I'm still considering playing 2. But drawing 2 sucks. It doesn't do anything by itself.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
2 town. I love 2 town.
Yeah.
I considered playing 2 town in the MCSs before and Master Duel. 2 town has never failed me. Drawing this means with my MPen search, if I'm only searching once, I can search wins. I can search advent. I can search map if I didn't have it at that point. It is so good to have 2. I will not in CCG, as long as Floo does not get hit anymore, play less than 2. It is wonderful. I've considered having 3 and then realized that was a stupid idea, but this is one of the 1 cards I feel like playing 2 of is just great.
I
like
agree
even
with
drawing 2 is nice, because if I go Eaglin, have like a town, let's say I have 2 Eaglin, can't do anything, having that town, having this hard drawn, allows you to play. I've won games from that.
Good.
Okay, now just for consistency stuff, 3 Pot of Duality, not much to say there. 3 Pot of Prosperity. With Diablosis gone, I'm not afraid of using Pot of Prosperity, not afraid of, all my face down cards and then banishing all my deck. I've considered using Extrav, but I'm of the belief that Floo doesn't need more advantage to start. We just need specific pieces to interrupt to start specifically. Extrav is Ash Bait, which is nice, but I think Prosperity is just better. And you don't really want to draw both because it's pick your poison. You either play Extrav or Prosperity in 1 turn. Obviously, they both can play with Duality, but you have to pick one. I don't like the decks that play both. The Prosperity, I think, is the way to go. And
Do you
Prosperity,
agree that Prosperity should be limited?
is broken.
It's broken.
I think it should be.
Okay.
I don't think it's broken in Floo exactly, but I think it's just too good in too many decks. It has like the Pot of Greed problem, where every deck that can play it will play it, and then some decks can take advantage of it, like for example Floo, which I still think is relatively low power, which is fine, but then there's other decks which don't need their extra and they're relatively strong power, and that really breaks the game.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just activate Prosperity, banish 3 cards you don't need from your extra, search for whatever cards you need, and then you just win the game.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Terraforming. It's a broken card. It finally got banned in Master Duel. I've considered actually taking this out. This is one of the cards I feel like I don't necessarily need, but map is just so good, and I'm afraid of Ash so much that I have been playing it.
Okay.
And then there are situations where you can use Terraforming to get to map to play around Droll. That is circumstantial, but it comes up and it's really important. Like you'll Terraforming, they'll Droll you, then you'll go map. Maybe you have like a Stree, you banish Tokon, you can go into something like that. You can end on theoretically an MPen. I mentioned before, like if I have that town set anyways, then I can end on a board without ever searching past map. And it's very interesting. So for the same reason, I'm playing 1 Gold Sark. It's also a card I consider removing, but this ability to play around Droll, this ability to play around Ash is so important, because in the games where I've gotten Ashed on my starting play, and didn't have a way to stop it, I've almost ubiquitously lost.
Okay.
Like that extra town has been like a hedge where I've won a game or two, but otherwise it's just like I lose the game. Like if I can't get going, Floo just doesn't do anything. And if you're losing going first in Floo, you pretty much lost the match. Okay, now for interruptions. 3 Book of Moon. Mostly for cash, but it's such a good hedge for Floo. People are playing imperms, people are playing target and negates. I've dealt with that somewhat in Melfi Sprites, I believe in Runic Sprites. It does so much. Okay, so against Kashtira, Book of Moon is just like a godsend. Against a bunch of other decks, it just allows Floo to dodge target and negates, which you have Advent, which is nice, but sometimes you don't want to. Even one case in a duel, I activated Book to dodge a target and negate on my Apex Avian, which allowed me to book it, still bounce it back to my hand, negate what they were doing, and then they wasted a card. And I believe I won off of that play because I was able to summon it again later in the turn because it was like, I forget if it was a chain or something like that, but I won off of that play. And that was brilliant. Like, I love Book of Moon. I consider Book of Eclipse, but Book of Moon just does better, especially if I can't break a board. I'd rather just have Book of Moon and not worry about them drawing.
Okay.
Okay, and here's controversial ones. 3 Imperm. I don't know about Imperm. I have a spoiler for my side deck. I have Dark Will No More in it, but I don't like main decking it. I wanted something that I could have that works good going first and second. That if I go first, it's an extra interruption. If I go second, it is some way to stop my opponent from completing a full combo if I can target something. It's not that powerful, but the amount of times where I've run in a situation where I have a card in my hand that I cannot use, and okay, it could have been anything else, right? If I end on a bad board, let's say that I summon Rarbina, they ash it, but I have Imperm, maybe I can stop them a bit next turn.
Okay.
But if I Dark Roll No More, I can't do anything. Game 1, I just prefer Imperm, and it's an easy swap out for my other side deck cards, which anybody who knows Floo knows what card would replace that. Okay, and then the final 4 cards. 1, Called by the Grave. Love this card. It's my hedge against Ash and Draw. It's pretty much my only hedge against Draw, except for the last 3 cards. And it's just, if I draw it, and I think I drew it twice in, I don't know how many games, I've won the goal. It's a broken card. It's legal at 1, I guess. I feel like I've underestimated it because of its use against Max C specifically in Master Duel. But in TCG, it's just straight up broken. I never got why people were like, it should be banned. But like when it goes off, when I go first and it goes off, it's just like, okay, my opponent can't do much.
And those last 3 cards?
Yeah, it feels, Called by the Grave feels like a floodgate, but it's not. However, my last 3 cards, if you've kept up,
I've kept up,
are the best cards in my deck. Dimension Shifter. I'm not going to say I won every game that I resolved Dimension Shifter. I'm going to say that every game I've resolved Dimension Shifter and didn't brick, I've won.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Dimension Shifter is so good. And you think, oh, well, Kashtira is the best deck in the format. It's so bad. Yes, but if I go first, I don't care. Right? I don't care that much. And if I go second, then I'm just not activating Shifter. Almost always, I will wait for Shifter until I know what my opponent is doing, especially with Cash in the format. I do have to worry about thrusts and triple tactics talent. One game, I believe I lost because I didn't activate this in standby, but I would always take that bet. There are so many other games where because I let my opponent commit first before I shifted, they lost some card advantage, they then had to stop, and then I could just full combo.
Okay.
So Shifter, it's another card that should probably be banned. It is so powerful. Cash makes it kind of broken. Floo is fine though. Right, chat?
Alright, show me that extra.
Show me that extra. Okay. Pretty much my extra is just a toolbox of cards to use to beat floodgates and towers.
Yeah.
So
that's usually what it is for Floo.
So I'll go over quickly like my final match of the tournament. I was against Mathmech Adagnister. I lost game 1 because I didn't draw any hand traps. It was just engine, didn't draw imperms, didn't draw shifter, didn't draw. I don't even think I drew book. I think it was just engine. It was like M-Pen, Rubina. Like, it was like nice going first, but going second didn't do anything. But they ended on a rival Cyberse with 4,000 attack. And I thought, and I thought, and I thought, and realized I have 1 out to my deck, and I can't beat it going second. I have
Underworld Goddess, yeah.
Underworld Goddess to close world. I have a way to summon this. It's not easy. It requires you having a map on field or town, and getting 4 birds on field, and then removing it. That's not doable going second. Maybe you could get them on field, but you can't summon it actually turn 3, which means your field gets cleared. There's no good way of doing it. So my bet was, okay, I'm just going to have to side deck and do that. I won game 2. Game 3, I hard bricked. Fun part, I drew 2 shifter, right, which is great, going second, and 3 ash blossom.
Full house.
I had nothing said. I shifter them in standby. They end on a heat soul. The heat soul Kotaka, the one that draws 1.
Yeah.
I draw for turn. It's Stree. I summon Stree. I banish my shifter. I pass turn. I shifter them again. I draw for turn next turn again because I managed to stall for turns, but I'm down like 5,000 life points or something. And then I draw wins. And that's why I don't want to play 2. And that is how my tournament ended. Double shifter, 3 ash. Like, nothing you could do there.
Okay.
It's rough. I didn't remove any consistency tools in my deck. I removed other hand traps and things. So it wasn't like, I missided. It was just bad shuffling luck. But yeah, Underworld Goddess is my only out for towers. It's something I need in this deck. I've actually considered playing 2 because of it. Occasionally you get, I believe, what is it, Unicorn, which can banish face down. And that actually will show you what a lot of my extra is.
Sure.
A lot of my extra is bets hedged for having Unicorn banish something face down and needing it out to some sort of floodgate that if a deck playing Unicorn I think does.
Yeah,
so we have Unicorn, we have that. We have Sure Egg, which is, well, it's a winged beast. It's nice. It's just something. It's half a bait. People will see it and be afraid of it, but it's a non-targeting banish. It does come up. However, I will say I have never actually done it in a tournament game. And I have this card in Master Duel. I've had this card in TCG. I've never actually summoned this card because almost always I'm either going to Underworld Goddess if I'm going that higher links, or I've lost the duel. Then my 2 ofs, 2 Zeus, 2 Downard, 2 Relinquished Anima.
Yep.
Okay. 2 Zeus and 2 Downard are relatively clear. The intent is that if I need to go into Zeus, one of them gets banished face down,
assembled
like that.
as well.
I guess we can go over those first.
They go along, since they go with the Zeus package usually.
They do go with the Zeus package. I actually have 2 different ones. They're not 2 assembled. I have Promenade Thrush and I have Assembled Nightingale.
Okay.
So Zeus and Downard, they're self-explanatory. It's intended to get rid of floodgates in the worst case scenarios. Usually things like Teak-Boo, or like things like that, if you can get around it. I guess Teak-Boo would be harder, but like things like I don't know, Gozen. There's things you can do to get around it. But Assembled Nightingale is the standard one. 2 level 1s, Swing Beast. You get into it, you can attack directly. You go into Downard, Zeus, and then wipe field. Promenade Thrush is a hedge against floodgates. What it does specifically is allows you to target a spell trap and then shuffle it into the deck. It doesn't bounce it. It doesn't send it to grave. Doesn't allow your opponent to touch it. It sends it back in the deck. And pretty much every floodgate I'm worried about are things that if sent back in the deck, they have to hard draw it again. I don't think I need this. I think a double Ascending Nightingale probably would be better. But it rarely comes up, so I'd rather just have that peace of mind.
Sure.
Double Relinquished Anima. This I have mostly because I got like the secret rare. I was like, oh, this is cool looking. I'll get 2. I need something extra to put in my deck. But also it comes up. I believe I won a game in an MCS by somebody, let's not name names, who put something in the wrong zone. I managed to Anima and then take their Babuguska. And then having a second one is pretty nice because it catches people off guard if they do it. But mostly it's because I want to have a few Link ones, including like Link Karibo.
Yeah.
These are Link ones specifically so I can go from having a Winged Beast into having a non-Winged Beast.
Okay.
We have two Code Breaker Fire Swordsmen. This is just for Baguska.
Yep, out to Baguska.
It's an out to Baguska. Did Baguska come up? No, but I'm still hedged on Master Duel stuff, and I didn't actually need space in this extra. I'm actually removing one for Donner, but Donner got delivered the morning, a few hours after I submitted my deck list. So I couldn't swap one out, and I wanted the Donner in. It's on the side here, but what can you do? I don't know its effect. I barely know its name. I've said it 15 times wrong. But I've had it out Baguska before. It's never steered me wrong. And then the last two cards on my extra are Nightmare Cerberus and Nightmare Phoenix. Same things. They're out for Floodgates, out for Baguska, stuff like that. And occasionally, if I need more attack, there's a situation where I actually had to summon Nightmare Phoenix and attack for game. Because the small birds, if I have them in the field and don't have any more summons, sometimes you run out of birds. You run out of the big birds. Maybe they're banished, maybe face down, maybe they're engraved, but you have no way of getting the other ones off the field. I just need more attack, and I think the highest attack bird caps out at 800, which I think is Eaglin. Might be straight. And two birds is just a little bit less than this, and I've won a game from that. Not this tournament, but some testing stuff.
Okay. All right, and let's cap up with the side deck.
And the side deck. The side deck, I believe, is the most important part of the deck. The main deck is, relatively standard, but the side deck is the biggest piece of it. So I have the one and the only Floowandereeze and Snow. Get a good look at that one. Love this card. I use it exclusively against Kashtira. I want to say that when I go second against Kashtira, it's my best card. It once per turn, and it's slightly a soft once per turn, so I can play more than one. You banish a card from hand, you book their entire field. And that's so nice. It's so nice because you can do it whenever. You don't have to worry about it. But the funnier part is that this card has three effects, right? It allows you to normal summon 3 times in a turn. That almost never comes up. It has the book face down for cast. That happens. However, I did side this in against one deck. I believe it wasn't cast, but I'm forgetting what it was. It might have been like Sprite or something. And I won in time because I summoned this, and its third effect, it allows all my cards on field to have piercing damage.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so I've won in time on that. So then everything else is pretty much straightforward. 3 evenly matched for clearing, going second.
Yep.
3 Dark Ruler, I mentioned for Imperm. 3 Ash. This is primarily to hedge against Furniture Lab.
Okay.
Shifter was my main source, but if I don't have it, Ash. This actually helped me in the mirror as well. My bread and butter, Harpy's Featherstorm, I played in main deck, but honestly, side deck is fine. I think main deck is a little bit too risky.
Have you ever resolved HFS and not won?
No. However, a question somebody asked in chat a bit ago, my round of 32 opponent was also on Floo. They resolved HFS against me, and they lost. So I've always won, but not my opponents. I am Floo's strongest soldier. And then my last 2 cards, 2 Econ. I never used these in our tournament. I thought it'd be useful against Cash, but I never wanted to side them in. I've always wanted to put something else in. I never felt like I needed more targeted avoiding things like that. It could be useful, but it just never came up. These I probably will remove and replace with more like spot removal or Reikeki or something like that coming up.
Okay. Sounds good. And any shout outs before we wrap up?
Let's see. Shout out to all the haters. No. Let's see. Shout out to Pisha for helping me with some Floo stuff. It was mostly for MCS stuff, but he helped me think about some things in my side deck. Shout out for Fuji for being a hater. Shout out to Roar for being a hater. Sub to Roar though.
All right. Well, congratulations, Reizu. One last one. Go ahead.
Shout out to Jumbo for being a little bit less of a hater.
All right. Congratulations, Reizu. We're all very impressed, very proud at your top 16 finish. And hopefully we get to see more from you in the future. All right. So
probably not, but hopefully.
And have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye, YouTube.